Chuck Schumer is digging in on tax hikes. House Republicans trying to punt on spending cuts, or at least delay them. And nobody's doing anything about a debt that grows $4 billion a day. So afraid of losing their jobs, they're not even doing their jobs. It's enough to make Celia Bigelow and Charles Payne sick. Charles, you don't like this.
No, absolutely not. And I think this debt ceiling punt was the latest example on this. You know, first of all, everyone stokes the flames of fear. You know, the president says if we don't do this, the markets are going to implode, and Congress puts its tail between its legs. I got to tell you, I haven't heard anything from S&P, Moody's, or anyone that says we want the debt ceiling to go higher. That's not what they've been saying. If you go back to all the things they said, it was all about getting our spending under control, not letting it run rampant. We get $277 billion a month. Like everybody watching this show who cut back in the last 5 years, our government's got to learn how to do the same thing. It's cowardly of Washington to continue to hide behind the notion that we're going to collapse overnight as a nation if we don't keep spending ourselves to death.
Celia.
I agree. I mean, congressmen have basically sent a message that today is not the day we're going to stop spending our children's and grandchildren's money. And Charles is exactly right. The reason why our credit got downgraded is because of our out-of-control spending and our out-of-control debt. The fiscal cliff deal even that we just witnessed, and it's expected to add $4 trillion to our deficit over the next 10 years. So, I mean, Congress is not serious about reining in spending, and that's exactly what we need to do.
But they're not doing it, Charles.
They're not doing it, and you know what? It feels hunky-dory. You know what? That's just it. You know.
Why are the markets hunky-dory with it?
Well, the market's a hunky-dory for a few reasons. My reason, I've been bullish and been telling people buy. Right. The global economy, first and foremost. That's why markets went up. That's why they will continue to go up. Global peace, valuations. I mean, all of these things play a role in the market that has nothing to do with the domestic economy. Wall Street is happy about Washington's stalemate. They know we've got a ticking time bomb with the debt situation, but they know it won't blow in 2013.
You know, see, I think also Wall Street likes government help. It's good for them.
Well, money gushing into the system is great. I mean, listen, Japan said we're going to crank up the printing presses, and guess what the hottest country in the world is? Japan. Yeah. Absolutely. Wall Street loves it. Wall Street, very short-sighted. They're really worried about how much money they're going to make tomorrow. But everyone knows, Washington, Wall Street, everyone watching this show knows that we do have a ticking time bomb. The fact of the matter is we can all stick our heads in the sand and just wait for it to blow. But that's not essentially what I thought we elected leaders for.
So what do you see happening?
Well, I wanted to make the point that the GAO, President Obama's personal government auditor, has released a report saying that if we don't run a surplus of 1% of GDP now, starting right now, in the next, over the next decade, we're going to be running the same GDP to debt ratio that we have now if we don't start running a surplus of 1%. That's the only way we're going to see the same debt to GDP ratio we have now. So when the president's personal auditor of the government is saying that we have a spending problem, I think we do.
I don't like it when they try to excuse it, Charles, and say as a percentage of GDP, it's really not that bad.
Or when they say, well, you know, we've had it before after World War II. That was different. You know what? And we didn't have competition. We didn't have China nipping at our heels, or Russia or Brazil. Also, they say, well, look at Japan. Yeah, look at Japan. They've had 2 decades of lost productivity. It's a country that's going down the drain. I'm glad they elected the guy they did for their sake, but here's also the difference. In Japan, the citizens and the companies, they own 90% of the debt. It's not China that owns all the debt of Japan, or the Fed printing up fake money every day. So it's a difference. It's the people that actually believe in what they're doing and they put their money where their mouths are, they're not going to ask for their money back overnight. But even with that being the case, we still see how detrimental it's been to Japan, because 20 years ago, we thought they were going to rule the world.
Celia, what's going to happen with all these tax hikes? Because apparently more to come.
Well, taxing our nation's job creators isn't certainly going to create more jobs, and these are the jobs that my generation is going to need to be able to pay down this debt in the future. My generation is going to be spending our prime years paying massive taxes to pay down this debt, or to pay towards entitlement and interest payments alone. So taxing our nation's job creators isn't going to solve anything.
And the irony is Barack Obama got that young vote overwhelmingly.
Overwhelmingly. I mean, he was able to say, listen, it's a good thing that you stay in your mother's basement until you're 27 years old. Listen, you can convince someone that's a good thing. Ask him at 27 when they're out there for the first time hitting the bricks, like, any job experience? No. What experience do you have? Well, I was in the basement for a while. I can.
Mother. Right.
I mean, listen, we're becoming a welfare society. They're calling out our natural instincts and the natural DNA of this country, the greatness of it. And it sounds great and it sells well to young people. Ultimately, though, it's not a gift, it's a curse.
Wow. All right, Charles, thank you very much. Celia, thank you.